Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. This episode is brought to you by Kalshi. Use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. I'm Dave Gasper. It is a Tuesday show here. The Brewers coming off an off day here and getting started on their series against the New York Mets. So it's just going to be a short little road trip here out in New York before the Brewers return back home. But you got a couple of games out there. We'll preview that series. We'll talk about kind of a surprise a little bit almost in the MVP race and some injured Brewers players on path to returning here to the active roster. Starting with, of course, Sal Frelick, who is set to return coming up here in this series, likely for this game here today. Sal Frelick, who has been out for a while with that shoulder injury that he suffered. It's just kind of been nagging at him for a while, so took some time, shut him down from throwing, and just tried to get him built back up. And they got him a lot of at-bats in this rehab assignment because they wanted to try and get his bat going too, because prior to the injury, Sal wasn't exactly hitting all that well. So just kind of taking a little bit extra time there and also making sure the shoulder is back to 100%. Pat Murphy did say back on the homestand before the Brewers went out to Williamsport that with Sal Frelick, his timeline, he said, I think you'll see Sal in New York. The Brewers are in New York, so Sal is going to be getting activated here. And in all likelihood, it's going to be Jonathan Ornelas that ends up going down afterwards. Just in order to make roster room here, just for the roster math. When Cooper Pratt came back, it was Brandon Lockridge that got sent down. So, now that Joey Ortiz has kind of been feeling better, from that twisted ankle, whatever it was that they were dealing with, you're kind of back to full strength in that infield with Pratt, Hamilton, Ortiz. So Ornelas, not quite as necessary for that group. And Sal Frelick coming back, it's going to make a lot of sense for the Brewers to go there. Pat Murphy did mention on his own, hey, maybe Sal Frelick at third base. Kind of jokingly lighthearted, but in a pinch, maybe. I mean, they've thrown Andrew Vaughn over there, so anything is possible, but I'm not holding my breath for that one. But that would be the expectation for me, that Ornelas is the subtraction here when the Brewers bring back Sal Frelick. So hopefully trying to get his bat going. What is going to be curious is how the playing time shakes out here in the outfield. You got Luis Lara, he's been signed to an extension. He's been playing a lot. And the bat's kind of been up and down, but the defense has been phenomenal for Luis Lara. He's been getting some starts in center, kind of trading off a little bit with Garrett Mitchell as the Brewers try and find ways to get these guys in the lineup, maybe get Mitchell a break here and there. I mean, Mitchell did get hit on the wrist with a pitch at the Little League Classic. Just a contusion. He should be fine, but still, something to keep an eye on there. How are they going to shake out the playing time in center and right field between Mitchell and Lara and Frelick with all three of them healthy? Plus, you have Jake Bauers, who's been playing a lot of right field lately in Sal's absence. And, how are you going to get all this group to mesh? Because you want to get Bauers in there. Vaughn's been hitting well, so you want to get him in there. So how do you fit all those pieces together? That's going to remain to be seen. But, yeah, that's a good problem to have in a sense if you're Pat Murphy. But very happy to have Sal back joining the club here in this series. So, Sal Frelick back, you're getting much closer to full strength here. Now you're just hoping that Sal can pick it up offensively to the levels that you've seen him be at before. So that would be really helpful for this group. So position player group starting to get healthier. The bullpen also trending towards being healthier now because the Brewers have also announced that Abner Uribe and JoJo Romero are going to be starting rehab assignments here. And they're going to be doing it with the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers up there in Appleton. And that's going to be starting today here. Both of those guys will be pitching for the Timber Rattlers. So, hey, if you're in the Appleton area, head on down to the Timber Rattlers game tonight because you're going to see Uribe and Romero pitching in that game. So that's always going to be a fun sight to see. Plus, it's always fun going to the Timber Rattlers games. It's a great ballpark, great spot. They got a really good team. And it's always fun kind of seeing those future Brewers and some current Brewers that are there on rehab, so they're going to be close by, and those guys are going to be getting a couple of innings in. And it wouldn't surprise me if they came back then for the homestand when the Brewers returned here to American Family Field this weekend. Get them an inning, an outing or two in high A. Just kind of okay, you get back in game action a little bit, and then bring them back. So could absolutely see that happening. You get Romero and Uribe here back for the weekend, but they're starting their rehab assignments. Should be a very quick stint for Uribe. Romero has been dealing with that appendectomy that he had since before the trade deadline. So that happened back in mid-July. Had to have the appendix taken out, so he's been recovering from that, and now he's finally getting ready to go here. I mean, he was a big piece in that Dustin May trade as well. So getting Romero healthy and kind of helping out this bullpen with another left-handed pitcher, I think is certainly an important part. Being able to get Romero back for that group, because they have just had so many injuries to their lefties this year. You have Aaron Ashby and DL Hall as really the only ones back there currently. Shane Drowan should be rejoining the bullpen here as well, but he's also kind of a length guy for the bullpen to have kind of more of a one inning, mid-level, high leverage reliever like Jojo Romero come back. That is going to be nice for them, because they've been without Angel Serpa, they've been without Rob Z, Brian Fitzpatrick, all those guys for a long time now. So having some extra depth there with the left-handed reliever is certainly going to be helpful for this group. So they're on the mend. They should be coming back. Joel Kuhnel and Rob Z are also kind of in their throwing progressions and getting closer to returns, but I don't think the Brewers are necessarily eager to put those guys back into the bullpen mix. I think they like the group that they have. And Uribe and Romero are certainly going to be the priorities in terms of getting them back out into the active roster. So those will be the moves I would expect, again, coming up this weekend. Because if they're sending them to Appleton here, that means they kind of want to keep them close. Because AAA Nashville this week, it's like, yeah, you could send them out there. I mean, the Brewers are out east a little bit, so it's like, okay, maybe send them out that direction. But no, if they're keeping them with Appleton, they want to keep them fairly close. So my expectation is, they're not going to be activating them for New York, because if they did, they were going to send them someplace else. So keep them in Appleton, keep them close. When the team comes back this weekend, that's likely when you're going to see them back with the big league club. So still got some games left to play before that happens, and you can trade every single game on Kalshi, as you guys know, throughout the season, and use that promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get started. And look, I mean, Brewers, Mets coming up here, and the Mets have not been good at all this season. The Brewers have been the best team in baseball, best record in baseball, and the offense has been really good. Even though they don't hit a lot of homers, the offense has still been good. The Mets pitching staff, they've been pretty bad. The Mets as a whole have been bad. So I'm looking at the Brewers on the spread here, winning by over 1.5 runs. That is currently trading on Kalshi at 47%. And that means a $100 trade pays out $209 with a win. That's a nice little, even just a little bit sprinkle on top of doubling your money on that one if the Brewers are able to win just by 2 runs in this game, which is certainly very doable for this team, especially against a cellar dweller like the Mets. So that's where I'm looking for this one. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10, Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on anything. Okay, I saw this today over on ESPN. I know, ESPN. But I saw this, their awards watch on everything. Just looking across Major League Baseball, who are the front runners for MVP, Cy Young, Manager of the Year, all this stuff. Pat Murphy is front runner for NL Manager of the Year, once again. Not entirely surprising. There's not really much other competition, in terms of like surprise performances in the National League. I mean, if you wanted to go with like Don Mattingly, the interim for Philly, with how things have turned around there, Clayton McCullough with the Marlins, if the Marlins can make it anywhere, but um, just kind of looking through. Then, of course, like Cy Young, NL Cy Young, Jacob Mizorowski is kind of trending right alongside Christopher Sanchez. They're 1-2, basically neck and neck. That's not entirely surprising either. But what was a little bit surprising to me almost was the National League MVP race. Now, the front runners, the clear two front runners, are Pete Crow Armstrong and Shohei Ohtani. Okay, there is no denying that. It's basically a two-horse race for NL MVP, with those being the top two guys. But what did kind of surprise me a little bit was third place being Bryce Terang. Now, look, I am here for the Bryce Terang hype and the Bryce Terang recognition. Okay, it is well deserved. It is long overdue that Bryce Terang gets this level of recognition. But I'm still a little bit surprised almost that Terang is trending third here in in NL MVP balloting. With the National League, with how good it's been this year, just kind of the caliber of players out there, that Terang is trending basically the closest behind the front runners. Now, granted, it's not super close. It is still far and away PCA and Shohei Ohtani, which, I mean, just kind of looking at the pure numbers, I mean, it absolutely should be. But I mean, Bryce Terang. I mean, I am loving the recognition here for him and just what he's been able to put up, because it's gold glove, platinum glove caliber defense there at second base, and then providing the power and the speed combo. And he's on track for a 2020 season. His batting average has dipped kind of around to 260, but still. Terang with a 5.4 B WAR on the season. He's been really, really good. Very consistent throughout the year. So great defensively, and continuing to develop and come into his own as an offensive threat and a middle of the order threat. Sometimes a top of the order threat. Pat Murphy kind of changes around the lineup sometimes. Sometimes he's leading off. Sometimes he's batting third. But Bryce Terang has really come on strong here. I mean, he's on pace for 20 homers. He's on pace for 20 plus stolen bases, and he's had a little bit of tough batted ball luck. A little bit of a tough stretch there, which has dropped his batting average down a little bit. But still, a very productive hitter and an extremely elite defender at an up the middle position, and that's putting Bryce Terang right there in the thick of, I guess, the NL MVP race. Now, he's the only guy who's in the top 10 here for the Brewers, which, understandable. No one else has really particularly been that worthy, that deserving of being that high up there. But it's still a two-horse race in the National League. But Bryce Terang trending third on ESPN's AX is what their stat is, how they call it as their abbreviation. So the AXE. I'm not sure what exactly that stands for. It's just kind of the AX system, as they call it. So it's some sort of numbers that are crunched and comes to a single number. It's kind of like WAR, I guess, but it's a whole different system that I guess ESPN uses or some other thing uses. I'm not familiar with it, but it's got Bryce Terang third in the NL MVP race, so I'll happily take it for sure. But that was an interesting development, I think. Okay, finally here, let's just kind of look ahead to this series against the New York Mets. The Brewers taking on the Mets for 3 games here, and this is one where you're facing off against a team that has a general manager that used to be your general manager in David Stearns. They've spent a whole ton of money, and it's gotten them basically nothing. The New York Mets are almost the poster boy for being against the cap because they spent their money so poorly. It's like, yeah, they have a whole ton of money and resources. You'd think they'd be able to buy up all the best players and be really, really good, but they've been terrible. They're sitting here at 59 and 72 on the season, completely out of it. But for this game here tonight, you got you got a pair of lefties. Kyle Harrison on the mound for the Crew, 10-3, 2.84 ERA. Zach Thornton, left-hander, who's been having a really good season for New York, 3-4 with a 3.04 ERA. So he is going to be on the mound for New York. He gave the Brewers a tough time last time when the Brewers faced them at American Family Field. So that is going to be an interesting matchup coming up here tonight. And then on Wednesday, Dustin May is on the mound for the Crew, and he's looking to rebound from his really rough last start that he had, given up 7 runs in the first couple of innings. So his ERA's jumped back up to 4.57 on the season. He'll be facing off against Bob Stock, the right-handed pitcher for the Mets, 0-2 with a 5.40 ERA on the season. And then on Thursday in the finale, not a matinee, getaway day, it's going to be a night game in New York. It'll be Miz Day on Thursday night. Jacob Mizorowski, 13-5 with a 1.68 ERA. He'll be going up against Sean Manaea, the left-hander, 4-5 with a 4.31 ERA on the season. So those are your pitching matchups. Those are the probables here for this series. The New York Mets, again, they have not been having a great season at all. And, they've just really been going through it. They're in dead last in the NL East, 17 games back. They have a 0.0% chance of making the playoffs. They are basically out of it. But still, they got some hitters. I mean, they got Francisco Lindor, Bo Bichette. You got some big names with that group. Juan Soto on the IL, so you get to avoid him for a little bit here. So that is some good news in that respect. But still, they can be a dangerous team. You cannot underestimate them. They do have quite the name power, even though they have not had a very good season at all. So it should be a fun series. It's going to be Kyle Harrison getting the initial start here for the Brewers, going up against Zach Thornton to begin this series. Should be a lot of fun. We'll be breaking it down every single step of the way here on Brewers Daily. So be sure to subscribe and get notified when new episodes drop in case you have not already. Also follow me on X at dgasper24. Appreciate all of you watching and listening, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.